The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Friday. It is the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Jamie and Brennan, who's in for Jeff, and myself. My name is Chuck. We're glad to have you with us today here on the Morning Drive. We'll take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, of the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Lots to get into today. Obviously, we've got football tomorrow with the Red Raiders and the Colorado Buffaloes playing for the first time in Lubbock since 2007. Got a bevy of high school football games tonight. We'll have coverage all throughout the evening, in addition to Texas Tech men's basketball as the Red Raiders take on Northwestern State tonight. They did move this game back a little bit so that they could honor Corey Carr at the game at some point in time tonight. Corey will be formally inducted into the Texas Tech Hall of Fame tonight, along with others, and the Hall of Honor will honor Wes Kitley, the two-time national champion track coach. We'll get to that as well. But we'll start just a little bit with the Lady Raiders from last night. Jamie, it's a little better last night. You didn't turn the ball over as much, and you didn't foul as much. Still not the fluid flow that you were looking for.
Yeah, I would say after two games, I like the pieces. I don't think they're fitting together great yet. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously the challenge for Coach Gerlich, is to make it all fit together so it can get, as you like to say, fluid. Yeah, or flow. Yeah, right now it's... it does feel like they're not doing a great job taking care of the basketball, and just, I mean, with so many new players, you kind of expect a lot of that, just trying to figure out everybody's role and how everybody plays with everybody. So it takes a little bit of time. And so, like I said, the pieces are good pieces, and pieces that have you more athletic and more able to compete in the Big 12 conference than you've had in years past. You just got to get them to figure out how to play together. Yeah, and that's one of the things that she said last night when we were visiting with her on the post game. And she said, I'm going to have to take a look at rotations and how I'm using everybody, and maybe, substituting too soon for some things, and maybe letting them play together a little bit more, because they used an awful lot of combinations. The one thing that they did do a better job of not turning the ball over in the second half. They had 4 turnovers in the second half after 10 in the first half, and a bunch early on. And then they did a better job of not fouling last night, which really slowed the game up on Monday night. They had like 31 fouls on Monday night, and they had 13 last night. So you reduced that substantially. One of the things that I learned yesterday was that the point of emphasis from the officials this year so far is you can touch once, but you can't touch twice with your hands. And so they want them to do a better job of working on defending with their feet and not with their hands. So that makes a lot of sense. It was really weird in the third quarter. Houston Christian had a chance to take the lead. They had the ball. They were down 29-28. This is at the 7:43 mark of the third quarter. And Kiera Prim kind of stumbles in the lane, commits a turnover. And from that point on, the Lady Raiders, the rest of the game, went on a 34-12 run. So it was like, I don't know if it was like smelling salts, if it was like a spark. It was like, they finally kind of got some things going together, scored some points off turnovers, because both teams had really struggled scoring off turnovers, at least Tech had. And then Tech had really struggled scoring in the paint in the first half. I mean, they only had 12 points in the paint in the first half, and they finished up with 32. So did a much better job of getting inside in the second half. And it wasn't a situation where you were shooting the ball well from the outside either. Yeah, right. You just had a hard time. The reason you weren't scoring in the paint a bunch is because you weren't scoring a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you were 11 of 28 from the field and 3 of 11 from beyond the arc, and they weren't any better. I mean, they were 9 of 27 in the first half and 2 of 9, and Tech finishes up at 39%, 24 of 61, and 5 of 22 from distance. That's a bad number, Jamie.
Yeah, it's not. You'd like a lot better than that, for sure.
Not ideal. So they get the win. I think they still kind of learning things about themselves and what they're needing to do. The competition is going to start to ramp up, though. You got New Mexico on Tuesday and Washington State next Saturday. So it'll get a little bit tougher next week, and you can't afford to, kind of be in this situation where you're kind of putzing through. So you're going to have to, I think, put the foot on the gas a little bit and play at the pace you want to, and just shoot the ball a little bit better. Sarah Sanongo, she had a really good game last night. She was our player of the game. She had 12 points, had an assist, had 3 block shots, drew 7 fouls, Jamie.
Nice.
And she had just 1 herself, had 5 rebounds. The team altogether drew 18 fouls, so she drew almost half of them. And then the other thing that was kind of odd last night, like against TCU, Houston Christian out-rebounded Texas Tech last night. They had out-rebounded TCU earlier in the week, and they did against Tech last night. So that's something that you'd like to see. They really missed Maya Pete last night. That would have been a night that they could have really used her. And she's just dealing with a little bit of a back strain, and I think she'll be good to go soon.
But I'm sure Coach Gerlich would tell you, whether you have Maya Pete or not, you want to out-rebound.
Absolutely.
Houston Christian.
Absolutely.
It's not Baylor. It's Houston Christian.
You're right. You're exactly right. And she was, and then they played with a lot of intensity, and she said, that shouldn't be any excuse either. That the other team coming in and playing really, really hard, because that's what you've had last couple of games. But I didn't feel like the Lady Raiders didn't play hard. No, it's just they're just
trying to figure out how to gel together.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's good. You've got the Jell-O in the refrigerator, and you're just trying to get it to formulate, so it becomes Jell-O, and you can put some nice whipped cream on top of it, and it becomes nice and tasty.
Okay.
So we shall see what the next action brings. That'll be Tuesday when they take on New Mexico.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All right, this from the Yates Flooring Center chat line off the Double T 97.3 mobile app, presented by Happy State Bank. Jordan says this: unpopular opinion, a calzone is just an Italian quesadilla. Yeah, it seems, when you say it like that, it seems to diminish it. Popular opinion, Tech wins Saturday, 38-27. Do you think that's the prevailing opinion, Jamie?
The Tech will win?
Yeah.
I think it's about 50-50, I feel like, with people that I talk to.
Okay. If you go to the doubleTSportsNetwork.com, go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com, you'll see our prediction article for the week. It says, prediction time, will the Red Raiders take down Dion and the Buffs? Jamie wrote this article. Of all the opinions that were given, mine, yours, Jeff McGuire's, Rob Bros, Jeff Haxton, Choice Woodman, Jacob Beatles, Clint Scott, Mike Gustafson, and our very own Brennan Riker, who's in for Jeff this morning, which one, in your opinion, made the most sense or talked the most sensibly in their brief statements?
I mean, that's kind of hard because I wrote one, so clearly it's my thoughts.
Well, I know, but I mean, take yourself out of it, okay?
Okay.
Because you always make sense.
Well, I'm going to agree with what I wrote because it was obviously my opinion.
No, I get that. But of the others.
Of the others. Let me skim through real quick. I think Rob's is too high scoring. Okay. I'm pretty close to Hax's. Let's see. Choice has the Red Raiders winning easy.
Yeah.
Jacob Beatles has Tech just barely winning.
No, Jacob has Colorado winning.
Okay, Colorado just barely winning, but I don't think it'll get to the mid-40s. Gus picks the Red Raiders to win a high-scoring game. Brennan picks the Buffs to win a high-scoring game. I guess I'm going with Hacks.
Okay.
Mid-30s win-ish for Colorado.
Okay. And I thought Brennan's statement in here, while his score is high, I thought what he said in here made an awful lot of sense. He says, even though Tech's defense played fairly well against Iowa State, the defense is still lacking in defending the pass and the deep pass, an area that the Buffaloes excel in. And then he said this, I don't expect Tech's pass defense to drastically improve this week. I think that's a fair statement.
I mean, you've been bad defending the pass all season long.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
And they've been good throwing the ball all season long.
So you can go read what everybody else said. And again, the article is Prediction Time. Jamie does this every week. Go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com and you can see what everybody had to say. And we'll make our official predictions a couple hours from now upon further review. You can weigh in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that. All right. Juan says this, my Red Raider eyes say Texas Tech 45, Colorado 38. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I was invited to the game between Liberty and Estacado. The first half started slow. The second half, they came out fighting. Oh, this must have been a junior or in like a JV game or something like that. Yeah, talk about the bull. I heard some parents saying we have a matador, but we should invite the bull mascot for the soccer team. By the way, Liberty had a gentleman cooking roasted peanuts, kettle corn, and pigskins. Best tasty snacks for a school.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think the Travis Hunter is he's definitely the man. Joey McGuire said last night on his radio show that he thought he was better as a wide receiver than as a defender, but he's dangerous both ways.
I don't know that I would disagree with him. I just think it's harder to find great defensive backs like he is. So if I was an NFL team, I would definitely draft him and have him, play almost every snap on defense, and then have him be, a guy I use sporadically on offense. Yeah,
and you kind of alluded to that yesterday, kind of saying a little bit of a kind of a Deion Sanders factor, which is who his coach is, obviously, with the Colorado Buffaloes. He also said some things along those lines of, we've heard him say this before, that the floor is to be bowl eligible, and he's happy that still have a chance at a Big 12 title. He also said that there's going to be a lot of NFL players on the field tomorrow, not only theirs but ours. So I don't know what the term "a lot" is. Okay, but yeah, I think it's going to be a big number. Certainly know that Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter are headed to the NFL.
You would think so.
What about the Red Raiders? Who on that team do you think would be like, okay, he's an NFL player?
No, let's start with Taj Brooks and Josh Kelly.
Okay, those were two that I had in mind.
Those two definitely in that conversation. I would guess Caleb Douglas would be an NFL player at some point. Jacob Rodriguez on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wouldn't be shocked to see C.J. Baskerville play on Sundays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a high level number. That's a pretty good number. So we'll see. This somebody says this will be a shootout, 56-52.
Oh,
just don't trust this team. I think that's awfully high.
I think it's really high. Yeah, but it sure would be fun.
Oh, it would be fun
if we win.
If you win, right? Yeah. Let's kind of flip the script there and say that Texas Tech's going to win. I saw this last night. Texas Tech announced, and of course they're going to be wearing the Patrick Mahomes jerseys tomorrow in uniforms. They're going to hand out 10,000 Adidas branded Patrick Mahomes styled headbands to the students. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd like to have one of those, but I'm not a student. But I think that'd be pretty cool.
Make a call, man.
Well, can make a call. I'd need two because both the phenoms would want one. So that'd be a little bit of a challenge. But maybe, they don't. If all the students don't show up, I'll sneak over there and go, hey, can I have a couple of these? See what it gets me.
Or find some of the students and offer them $10.
Oh, hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Hey,
students can buy themselves a sub, and
yes,
they're not gonna wear it anyways.
Absolutely.
Unless you're Rafa Nadal, who's rocking headbands,
right?
Besides NFL player or football players,
Devin Cambridge, maybe he'll wear one tonight. Wouldn't that be cool? 6:40 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Yes, beer money for a headband. Good idea.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey, good morning on the Morning Drive with Brendan Riker, is in for Jeff McGuire, Jamie Lent. I'm Chuck Heinz. Come to you this morning from the First United Bank studio. Look forward to hearing from you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, your score predictions, et cetera, et cetera. 806-771-0973. That's the phone number for the Visual Edge IT hotline if you care to voice them or share with us and your thoughts on the ball game tomorrow. Jamie, how about this for this day in sports history? We missed this, but on this day in 2021, Texas Tech officially hires Joey McGuire as the head football coach, named the 17th head coach on this day in history, November 8th, 2021. If I had said to you on that day, this afternoon, that I had the crystal ball and that this is what you had and this is what the next 3 years were going to look like from that point forward, would you have said, I think I want a little bit more than that, or that seems about right, or that's disappointing?
Well, I definitely want more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely want more than that.
Right? That's always, I'm sure that's a no-brainer because you haven't won a national championship, and that's the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah. Is this about what I expected? At that point, did I know how much money we were going to pour into the program?
Well, you knew the South End Zone project was going on. We didn't really know what the name, image, and likeness money was going to be like at that point in time. You assumed that you were going to be competitive from a recruiting standpoint. The rules were really, I think, unclear in terms of like the compensation that you could provide to players, but it was very clear what you were doing, in terms of tearing down a football building and tearing down the South End Zone and building that up. So I think you were pretty aware of that, and you were making a substantial investment too in your assistant coaching pool as well, and ramping up, the number of analysts and things like that. So I think it's fair to say that, while it may not have been crystal clear, but it was clear that you were going to make a sizable financial football investment to your program.
I think I would just probably say that we're talking about 3 bowl games. We're talking about 7 wins in the regular season. This point being the high point. I think I would probably say I'd would have predicted a little tiny bit more, that you'd have got to 8 regular season wins.
Mm-hmm.
By now, probably this year would have been the year that I would have, quote unquote, expected that.
Mm-hmm.
To get to 8. So, and you still might do that.
Yeah.
You still might do that. You might get to 9. So, I guess I would say it's about where I expected. I mean, I'm not one that hears a coach talk or see that a guy gets hired and I'm like, oh, we're going to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, it takes more than just talk for me. I gotta, before I truly believe in a coach or a program or whatever, I gotta see them perform at the right level, and so I didn't have these just crazy expectations because we know Joey McGuire can recruit, that all of a sudden we're going to go from struggling to get to bowl games to being a 9 and 10 win team every year. So I guess my really long-winded answer there is I guess it's about what I expected. Yeah,
and I think you would say maybe better than expected if you had done something like this: 1 at Wyoming, okay, 1 at Washington State, and then beaten Baylor the 2 times that you've played them at home. That if you had those 4 wins, it substantially kind of changes the direction of each of the past 2 seasons going into this one.
Sure does.
And so I think that's the That's the blemish on the record is the way that you've lost to Baylor twice at home, kind of just laying an egg, and then the loss at Wyoming in double overtime and the loss at Washington State. That if you turned those around, then you'd be like, okay, I'd feel a lot better about it. But then you hear this number and you go, okay, that's something that I feel like that has been a substantial improvement with this regime versus previous ones, because Coach McGuire's teams after Saturday was the 4th time this year and the 14th time that they've held an opponent to 25 points or less, and Texas Tech is 13-1 in those games.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like that there have been times over the years, especially since the Leach era, that we all said to a person, God, if we could just get our defense to hold the other team to 30, we'd win more ball games. Mm-hmm. And so I think they have done that. There have been times where the offense is, I don't know, stumbled or gotten a little stagnant or just not running all cylinders.
I think over the last 3 years you've lost games because of your offense. I think there's been plenty of games that you've lost because of your defense too. Mm-hmm. I would tell you it's probably been more on the defensive side of things, but like we've said many times before, in Lubbock, Texas, when you're a Red Raider fan, you're more critical of the offense because you have higher expectations.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that are going to stand out to you.
Yeah.
When your offense doesn't perform and you lose games because of it.
Yeah. So I just thought that was I thought that was really interesting. So Taj Brooks tomorrow needs 121 yards to break Byron Hanspard's career record. Does he do that tomorrow?
I think he will. Yeah, I think he will.
Yeah, I think so as well. And he's only the 3rd Red Raider all time and just the 9th rusher in Big 12 history to get to over 4,000 yard marks. He did that last Saturday. He's now at 4,099. And when you say that, 3rd Red Raider all time and just the 9th in Big 12 history. Now, the Big 12 history goes back to 1996, but still, that's impressive. Mm-hmm. When you think about it. So I don't know. That's just a thought. He's also one of only 2 rushers this year to go over 100 in every game that he has played. That's with a minimum of 7 games, according to Tech's notes, and the only one to do so from a, quote, power conference.
Colorado is 10th in the conference in yards per game rushing allowed at 155. The Red Raiders offensively, we know, rely heavily on Taj Brooks. We know that he's been the majority of your rushing attack. You're averaging 164 yards per game on the ground, and Taj is a large majority of that. So I would be really surprised to see the Buffs keep him under 121.
Yeah. James Gray's going to be here tomorrow to help celebrate Taj if he breaks Byron Hanspard's record. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's
very cool.
Really cool.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Next, Jamie's question of the day.
Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, I am going to give you the games in the Big 12 Conference today with the lines.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me the one that you are the most confident will be an upset and the one that you are the least confident will be an upset.
Okay.
So we're talking upsets. Okay. Colorado favored by 4 over Texas Tech. Cincinnati favored by 4 over West Virginia. Iowa State favored by 3 against Kansas. Arizona State favored by 2.5 at home against UCF. TCU favored by 10.5 at home against Oklahoma State. And BYU favored by 3 on the road at Utah. Which one are you the most confident will be an upset, and which one are you the least confident will be an upset?
Man, I feel really good about this game in Lubbock tomorrow. I feel great about this game in Lubbock tomorrow. So I'm going to say I am the most confident that Tech will beat Colorado tomorrow. Okay. I think they're going to come out hair on fire. I'm not even sure they need the pyros tomorrow. I think all they're going to have to do is just like go out with their guns up and like fire will come out of the end of their fingers. That's how fired up they're going to be tomorrow. Okay,
that's cool.
Joey McGuire's
cool little trick.
Joey McGuire's going to have a remote pyro on the top of his cap, and that when he comes out, everybody's just going to go crazy, and then it's just going to be that way. It's going to be a phonetic atmosphere tomorrow at Jones Stadium.
Okay? You guys be going crazy because they think the head coach is on fire?
No, I think the energy will build starting with what's going to happen early in the morning, and it'll just morph its way all the way to 3:00 tomorrow afternoon and into the evening. Okay.
Do you guys ever wonder what exactly Chuck puts in his coffee every morning?
It's just straight.
It's not.
I may get higher by Friday.
I mean, it's not. It feels like there's visions and there's hallucinogens and there's just stuff that the rest of us don't see. Mm-hmm. That's cool. It's really cool.
And I think Iowa State will go into Lawrence. Well, they're not going to play in Lawrence. They're going to play in Kansas City on the Missouri side at Arrowhead Stadium. I think Iowa State is going to blow away the Jayhawks tomorrow. It might even be a 21-point game. I think they got nothing. Iowa State has everything to play for, and Kansas is playing for some kind of mediocre, not even mediocre bowl game. Brennan?
So, looking at the Big 12, the game that I look at that I'm the most confident would end in an upset, I would say Utah over BYU. And the reason why I say that is because that is a big-time rivalry that I think in that rivalry, the records don't matter. I think with Utah being at home, this is their game of the season. They've already had not a great year, but this is the one game that's on their schedule that are like, okay, we have to win this. So I think they're going to come out with their hair on fire in that game. The game that I'm least confident in the upset, I'm kind of with Chuck. I don't think Kansas has a shot against Iowa State. I would like the Jayhawks to win that game, but I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, if you're counting on them, then be prepared to be let down.
I think I'm going to agree with you, too. I think the one that would surprise me the most, so the one that I'm least confident in, is Kansas pulling off the upset against Iowa State, just because I think Iowa State is going to be a very motivated team after last weekend. Yes. And Kansas has played a little bit better in recent weeks. But I just think Iowa State is just going to kind of inflict their will on the Jayhawks, and you'll see a very motivated physical football team that will run away from that one. Okay, I think this is and this reason that I asked the question is because I can't be super confident in any of them pulling off upsets, but I am going out on the thinnest of branches, I guess, for this one. I think Oklahoma State's going to win at TCU.
It's funny. I had a similar thought, but just because it'd be like, that's the most wild thing ever, right? But because of everything that's transpired there,
I don't think it's that wild because I don't think TCU's a great football team.
Yeah,
and I don't think Oklahoma State's as bad as their record shows. But something tells me Oklahoma State's going to win that game.
Okay.
I looked at that, and obviously I want both teams to lose.
Yes.
But for Tech's sake, I want TCU to kick OSU's teeth in, just because when Tech plays OSU, I don't want OSU to have any confidence at all. I want that to be a completely dejected team when you go to Stillwater.
They have no chance. If they lose this weekend, they have no chance of making a bowl game. So maybe, I don't know, Brennan. I'm so worried about Tech losing to Oklahoma State and it being their first Big 12 win. So I'm rooting for Oklahoma State this weekend, which you almost never hear me say.
Wow, that's breaking news right there.
Really, I'm just rooting for TCU to lose, but yeah.
When you hear Brennan say "kick their teeth in," you know what the first thing that came to my mind was? That if you went to a bar and there was a fight going on, the people would walk into that bar and go, the guy that I think I could take the first would be that guy, and point at Brennan, but I feel like that Brennan would be the last man standing.
I appreciate the confidence,
He's
Jeff.
a scrapper.
I don't think I'd want to get into it with you. I think you would fight to the death and people would quit long before that.
For sure.
Yeah.
I have not tested that theory. I don't plan to anytime soon, but I believe you, Chuck.
Let's see. Somebody says this with regard to Jamie's question about my coffee. Every day, Jamie, every day. Somebody else says this. I always assume that he puts Jameson in his coffee. No,
not every time.
Not well. They said
every day, not every time.
They should have said every time. Mm-hmm. Somebody says Kahlua in the coffee. That possibly could be the case with a tad bit of LSD. No, I have never done drugs. I don't.
That's where my mind wanders.
Yeah, no drugs for me. Plenty of alcohol in my life, but no drugs, no marijuana, no LSD, no cocaine, nothing along those lines has infiltrated my specimen of my body. Other things not good for me? Yes.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Next, it's upon further review. All right, Brennan, Jamie, and I will make predictions. A choice was in for Jamie last week, and he won the week for you last week. Okay?
That's why we pay him the big bucks.
Brennan has been here just a handful of times, and he's got 3 skins on the wall. I've got 3 skins on the wall. Jamie's got 4, with 1 thanks to choice. Mm-hmm. All right, so the first thing, I don't think I've ever asked you to make a prediction on something like this before. All right? But we're gonna give it a go. All right? Okay. Tonight, the Texas Tech men play host to Northwestern State. All right? We'll have the broadcast at 7. The tip time is 8 o'clock. On Tuesday night, against Bethune-Cookman, the Texas Tech men tied for a program record 16 made threes. How many made threes tonight, Jamie?
11.
Brennan?
I'm going to go with 9.
Put me down for 17. They break the record tonight. Okay. Oklahoma State and TCU play tomorrow in Fort Worth. I need a winner and score, please, Jamie.
I will take the Cowboys to pull off the upset. 31-27.
31-27. Brendan?
I will take TCU 24-21.
24-21. I think I'm going to go with Jamie here. I think it's going to be a little bit more than that. I'm going to say Oklahoma State pounds them. 35-17. Okay.
I just got that feeling again.
What? That you made the wrong choice?
No, that I'm angry. Like, how in the world did we lose to TCU?
Yeah.
How did that happen? We're up 17, man.
I know.
How does that happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have something I can throw, Brennan?
Next, I need yards rushing for Taj Brooks. He needs 121 to break the record.
This is going to kind of tie into what I have for our next segment, but I think Taj Brooks will have, I'll say, 101 rushing yards.
Jamie?
I'll say 123.
Put me down for 147. I need a score, and we'll have this game for you on Sunday afternoon as your Dallas Cowboys, yours in quotes, take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Broadcast time 2:30. The kick at 3:25 from Jerry's place. Jamie, winner and score, please.
24-17 Philadelphia. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Okay. Brennan?
I hate making this pick, but I think the Eagles win 35-10.
35-10 Philly. I actually think Cooper Rush is pretty good.
I do too.
And I think he's going to have a big day. Put me down for a Cowboy 28-20 victory.
I'd be very happy if that happens.
Okay. Winner and score, please. Texas Tech and number 21, Colorado. Optimum Game Day live coverage begins tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. The kick is at 3. After the game, we have the Double T 97.3 Coors Light post-game show from the Overton Hotel and Conference Center. Will we be happy? Jamie, winner and score, please.
I'll stick with my prediction from earlier, 36-33 Colorado.
36-33 CU. Brennan?
Colorado 49, Texas Tech 45.
49-45 CU. And I will stick with my prediction. You can go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com and see many of our predictions and our statements about that. 36-27 Red Raiders for me. Now our tiebreaker, okay? And you don't have to keep the same answer as what you had previous, and this really applies to you, Brennan. And if you want to say he won't, it's okay. This is the tiebreaker. Time of game when Taj breaks the record, or just simply say he won't.
He won't.
Okay. Jamie?
A minute and 47 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Okay. I'm going to say at 2:28. See what I did there? With the 28?
Okay.
Of the third quarter. Okay. That's upon further review. All right. While I agree with this texter, he could have come back. There's another thing that you could say about this. The texter on the Yates Flooring Center chat line says this: in all fairness, Taj played 5 seasons and Hansbart only played 3. And Taj really had 1 season where he hardly played because of an injury or COVID.
I would put more on that if Hansbart had played 4. But, I mean, he chose to play 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's not an argument here of who's better or who's worse. The argument is about who has the most rushing yards ever at Texas Tech. And the answer is going to be at some point Taj Brooks.
Now.
Okay, so if Hansbart had played 4, used up all of his eligibility and played 4, then I get where you're going. You're like, okay, well, it seems a little bit unfair that he loses the record to a guy who got to play 5 seasons because of stupid COVID rules. I completely agree. But he chose to leave early, so nobody made him leave early.
Yeah, but here is the rub, and there's an article that Don Williams has written this morning in the Lubbock Avalanche Journal. For James Gray and for Byron Hansbart, their bowl rushing records don't count because of how the NCAA did it.
Yeah, that's also dumb.
Prior to 2002.
So let's count them in there. So let's take it upon ourselves at Texas Tech to just add those in there.
Okay, so if you do that, then Byron Hansbart and James Gray are still ahead of...
Would last a little longer before Taj passed them.
And it would be a little harder for Taj to break that record. Okay?
Yeah. Again, we're not predicting or not saying who's better. We're just saying who's rushed for more.
Yeah. That's how it is for everybody.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.